Hi everybody, I'm going to do a video on how to get out of being poor. Now let me say this, I know this won't work for everyone. There are definitely some circumstances that would stop you from doing this. And I'm not saying that I know how to end poverty, because I know that if everyone did this, it wouldn't be a thing, right? But here's how you can use college to get yourself out of being poor. One, I understand how it is to be poor. I've slept in my car before. It sucks. And I know that you really don't have much to use to get out of it. I get why people can be poor and how it is, what keeps you there, pretty much everything, right? But here is a way to get out of it. This is what worked for me. So one is the government will give you money to go to school if you don't make any money. Now, this won't be true if you have parents that make a good amount of money and you're under 24. Basically, there's a thing called a Pell Grant out there, and they will give you over $1,000 per semester to go to college. Now, if your parents make a lot of money and you're below 24, they won't do that. In that case, you either need to get them to help you or wait until you turn 24. Either way, whatever you do, you can get a Pell Grant. If your parents don't make any money, then yeah, you do have to get their tax information, but you can still get the grant, basically. So this will pretty much offset your tuition, even at a university. And in a community college, you'll get more than your actual tuition. So that's the next thing I would say is if you can live with them, if you can live somewhere where you don't have to pay rent, then that's something that you should do when you do these first 2 years. Now, the first 2 years, what I'm going to suggest is you do a community college. Now, these days, they're not all called community colleges. Where I went, they now call themselves a state college, right? Sounds a lot more official, but whatever. It's still a community college and we know it. Basically, this type of college is something that's in a lot of areas and they generally don't offer classes that go all the way up through the degree, but they offer the more basic classes. Now, I highly recommend this because honestly, you're going to get probably a better quality education in those, as I call them, Mickey Mouse classes, English and the math classes that everyone offers at a community college than you are going to get at some kind of university, because they're just trying to shuttle a lot of students through that and the classes are huge. If you take a class like that at a community college, the classes are a lot smaller and you can get a lot more attention if you need it. Now, beyond that, you're going to get the Pell Grant and you might want to get student loans if you need them. Now, I would recommend avoiding them if you don't need them yet, right? Because there's no reason to get them. Now, there is another way of looking at this that you could go ahead and take them, and if you get to the end of this path and you have extra money, then just go ahead and pay it off on your student loans, right? I did that to a certain extent. Now, go through your community college, do your Mickey Mouse classes, do the prereqs for whatever degree you choose. Now, the degree you choose, I suggest that it be a degree in engineering or technology or science, maybe mathematics. Do a STEM degree, because those are the degrees that people are hiring for, and those are where the internships pay money. Now, at the same time that you're in community college, you want to have some kind of part-time work. I highly recommend you try to find part-time work that is, strongly related or correlated to what you want to do, because you'll be able to put this on your resume later. The closer it is to your degree, the better. If you can be like some kind of electrician assistant or something like that, something that deals with electronics when you're going into electrical engineering, that would help. For me, I did an information technology degree, so I was doing a job as SEO, search engine optimizer, and that is not completely information technology, but it's adjacent, it's close enough, and it meant something on my resume. Now, if you can't get any of that, then I understand you have to take what you can get. Maybe you have to go work at McDonald's, whatever, you need the money, it's not a big deal. But while you're there, be working on a way to find another job that's a little bit closer to what you do that's part-time. I understand it's not easy. Really what you need is the money. So after you get through your community college, what you need to do is go to a state university in which you've been a resident in, because they are a lot cheaper than a private college or something like that, or private university. So you need to do that. Don't get caught up with the whole, this place is really cool. Like, I would highly not do Full Sail, basically. I would not recommend Full Sail because it's one of those places that's a big private university and they charge a lot of money. Same for things like something called University of Miami, right? Sounds really official, not a publicly funded university. It's actually a private university, costs a lot more money. I went to University of Central Florida as a Florida resident for university. It was fairly affordable for me, although yeah, it's way too expensive. I get it, you know. So what I did at that point was I took out student loans, and that's what you may need to do. Now there's two types of student loans. There's government subsidized student loans, right? Those are ones that you will not have to start paying off and will not start accruing interest until you've graduated. The subsidized ones tend to accrue interest before you've graduated. So you owe more and more and more money from the second you took out the loan while you're still studying. Not great. But if you have to take them, it's worth it to get out of being poor. Because here's the thing, once you get that job, you'll be able to pay them off. Even if just slowly, you'll be better off than you were when you were poor and not making enough money to live. So you're using the Pell Grant and the student loans to subsidize yourself as you come up through the ranks here. Now, at a certain point, especially once you've gone to university, what you want to be doing is thinking about, you know, can I get myself into an internship? Because internships in STEM degrees tend to pay. They tend to be paying internships. And they will pay you more money a lot of times than any part-time job would. You know, unless you have something that's very related to your degree and is paying you well, I would recommend going out and looking for internships. And this is just where you have to be the judge, right? Now here's the thing, this is hard, I get it. The degree is hard, you know, whatever degree you take, if it's STEM, is going to be hard. It's going to be time consuming, and what you're going to have to do next is even worse. Work on personal projects if you can within your degree. Do something outside of the degree, you know, itself that is related to the degree that you can put on your resume. So I'm talking about, like, as an information technology major, I set up a website and a server and I put that on my resume, right? So that's something good you can do. At the same time, be going to places that are looking to hire interns or maybe even full-time people. Go to these networking events, talk to people. They'll help you. They'll help you, you know, get into it, especially if you have that passion. And that's the next thing, is have the passion for what you're doing, because this is what's going to give you a better life. Find a way to love it. You know, find a way to make it your life. Hey, I mean, it might not be sitting on the couch watching TV. It might not be super fun all the time. It might not be relaxing. It could be frustrating at many times, but it's going to give you a better life. And that means a lot. So beyond that, what do you do, right? What do you do at this point where you're getting, maybe you have your internship, you're in university. Well, now you have to find a real job when you're about to graduate. You don't want to graduate, have these student loans, and not have a way to pay them, right? That's a big scary thing when it happens. So basically what you need to do is put yourself out there a lot, apply everywhere, and be willing to move. That might be the hardest part for some people. If you're not willing to move, it's going to make your life harder. So at that point, you know, you do what you can, you find what you can, hopefully you get a good job, hopefully it pays well, and I would say that that can work. I mean, that's how I felt, was the hopefully, and it lined up. And honestly, if it hadn't, I had other opportunities that could line up. So this is a way to get out of being poor. I get the whole world can't do it, but maybe you can.